The Jersey Devil Story, Part 1. The Jersey Devil is a legendary creature native to the Pine Barrens, a wooded area in the southern U.S. state of New Jersey. The creature is often described as a pride, 1-to-1, 8 meters tall, with a body covered in black down, wings similar to those of a bat, that is, able to fly, dark red eyes, and a head similar to a horse or goat or dog, long neck, ram's horns, short front legs with sharp claws, cloven hooves, and a forked tail. However, there are different descriptions, some of which strongly resemble a kangaroo. Legends say that this creature moves quickly and emits a scream that makes your blood run cold. The story of the Jersey Devil can be traced back to the times of the North American Indians. One of the Delaware tribes called the local peat bogs Popuessing, which means land of the dragon. Later, Dutch explorers renamed this place Drakekill, Dragon Creek. Delaware legends also say that there is a place nearby in New Jersey called Squankum, which means lands of evil spirits. Nevertheless, the phrase land of evil spirits may well mean a place of active breeding of mosquitoes and nothing more. Most Jersey Devil legends trace his origins to Mrs. Leeds, aka Mother Leeds, a supposed witch who lived in the late 17th century, although there are many variations on this story. According to one version, she summoned the devil by saying, "Let him be the devil," or "Let the devil take him," when her 13th child was born, since she was tired of having children. When he was born, she gave him the name Lucas, after whereupon he immediately or shortly after birth turned into a winged devil-like creature, ate all the other children in some versions of the legend. In others, he, being born as a normal child, turns into a winged devil a few seconds later and eats the midwife and flew off into the steppes through a chimney. Stories about the time of birth and the degree of ugliness of the creature also differ. Most often, the year of birth of the creature is indicated as 1735. In various versions of the legend, other details are also found. For example, that Mrs. Leeds conceived this child from the devil, that local priests tried to expel this creature from Pine Barrens, or that it subsequently flew away from home, continued to devour local children. According to another version, the Jersey Devil was at first a normal child, locked for life by an evil mother in a cellar or attic, and then turned into a monster and escaped into the steppes, analogous to wild children, which is at least partly a possible version of the real event. According to another version, a selfish and selfish girl once refused to provide accommodation and food to the gypsies, in retaliation for which they brought a curse on her, and she gave birth to a child devil. There is also a version that Leeds was a witch who cast a curse on Varia in the form of a devil. A certain English soldier is sometimes named as her accomplice in terrorizing Varia. Finally, there is a version that the devil knocked 3 times at Mrs. Leeds' house, introduced himself as her son, and asked her to let him in, but she, realizing who it was, refused to do so, and since then the devil has been wandering around Varia. The homeland of the Jersey Devil is considered to be a hut called the Shroud's House, in a local pine forest among the peat bogs, which still exists, albeit in the form of ruins as of 1952. The foundation and some other parts of the structure survived. In some legends, its mother is not called Mrs. Leeds, but Mrs. Shorts. It is noteworthy that in this place at the end of the 17th century there actually lived families with the surnames Leeds and Shorts, and their villages were separated only by a river. It is said that the Jersey Devil's friends were headless pirates, ghostly women, or mermaids. In some places in southern New Jersey, there were rumors that the Jersey Devil lived in a certain area near a herbicide factory, the existence of which was also nothing more than a rumor, which was supposedly located among the forests and sands surrounding the small settlement of Chartsworth. There is a widespread legend in southern New Jersey that a woman expecting a baby for the first time really hoped it would be perfect. When he was born, he was so ugly that she had never seen anyone more terrible. The mother became angry and said, "He is not my son, but the son of the devil, so let him return to him." After which she threw him into the river, where he immediately drowned. Since then, there has also been a legend about the river in which which the devil lives, as if on the stone bottom of the river there lives a creature that sucks in air, and some floating people can be sucked under the water by it, where inevitable death awaits them. Allegedly, the corpses of these people then float from the bottom to the surface of the water, which was repeatedly observed by eyewitnesses. The Jersey Devil was called the Leeds Devil or Leeds Devil, which may have been a reference to the local Leeds family and the town of Leeds Point in southern New Jersey. Mother Leeds has been identified by some scholars as Deborah Leeds, on the basis that her husband, Japhet Leeds, specified 12 children in his 1736 will, which is generally consistent with the legend except for its version, in which the devil eats other children. Deborah and Japhet Leeds lived in the area of Leeds Point, now in Atlantic County, which in legend is usually the setting for stories about the Jersey Devil. Some researchers attribute the origins of the Jersey Devil legend to the activities of Daniel Leeds, who acquired land in the area of Pine Barrens, which later became known as Leeds Point, most often mentioned in the legends of the Jersey Devil as the location of the action and of alleged sightings of the creature. Leeds, a Quaker and prominent figure in late 17th century New Jersey, was ostracized in his community for publishing an almanac in 1687 containing texts on Christian astrology and other occult matters. Having entered into a dispute with his fellow countrymen, Daniel continued to publish his works, and when in the 1690s they were declared blasphemy and heresy by the Philadelphia meeting of Quakers, he converted to Anglicanism and accused the Quakers of anti-monarchism, enlisting the support of Lord Cornaby, the British governor of New Jersey, and becoming his advisor. Viewing Leeds as a traitor, the Quakers of southern New Jersey expelled him from the community as the embodiment of evil. In 1716, Daniel Leeds' son Titan, who inherited Leeds Point, continued publishing his father's almanac of astrological articles, which at one time even competed with Poor Richard's Almanac, published by Benjamin Franklin. In 1733, the latter, in order to ridicule Leeds' passion for astrology, published a prediction of Leeds' death in October of that year, and when this did not come true, he sarcastically announced that Leeds had actually died and now existed in the form of a ghost. And this joke was widely circulated, remaining on the lips of people and after the real death of the Titan of Leeds in 1738. According to researchers, Franklin's image of the Leeds ghost, coupled with the latter's reputation as a blasphemer and occultist, contributed to the emergence of the legend of the Leeds Devil hiding in the Pine Barrens. In 1728, Titan Leeds began to depict the coat of arms of his family in the almanacs he published, which included an image of the mythical creature Wyvern. Regal notes that the creature is reminiscent of popular descriptions of the Jersey Devil, and that the crest at the very least added to the already bad reputation of the Leeds among locals, the image of the monster and the growing hostility of South Jersey residents towards the royal family and aristocracy with which the family crests were associated, could have been one of the factors in the emergence of the legend of the Leeds Devil and the association of the Leeds family with devils and monsters. During the 18th and 19th centuries, at least by the turn of the 1790s and 1800s, the story of the Jersey Devil was already common in the oral folklore tradition of southern New Jersey. In particular, in 1859, the Atlantic Monthly published a large article describing the legends of the Pine Barrens, in which the Leeds Devil appears. And in 1887, the same newspaper described alleged sightings of this creature, called the Leeds Devil and supposedly well known to Burlington residents. In the Encyclopedia of American Folklore, an encyclopedia edited by Jan Harold Brunvand, Rutgers professor Angus Cress Gillespie called the Jersey Devil a little-known local legend for most of its existence until the events of 1909, when, as a result of supposed mass sightings, it became widespread fame and attracted the attention of the press. He also noted that over 250 years of oral tradition about him, a large number of versions of this story have developed, and also that today, due to the popularity of t-shirts, buttons, cards and other goods with the image of the Jersey Devil, cocktails named in his honor, and other attributes. The creature has become more of a character in mass culture than folklore.